Hey guys, what's up? Hey, G4T. Following this is a BlogTV that I did that has actually 2 hours, so I pared it down to 1 hour. And I haven't done BlogTV, though a lot of people have wanted me to do that, just because there's sheer time involved. But I'm going to try to institute something that'll hopefully help me out and may help you guys out. I'm going to do a BlogTV by request. So what you can do is, if you want to request me to do a BlogTV on a particular topic where I answer all your questions to the best of my abilities, I'm going to put my PayPal right here, and I don't know, you just give a donation, and I'll make sure that I address your questions as best I can. And I thought this might be a way for me to, be able to take time out and do more BlogTV for you guys, but at the same time, be able to, earn some extra income, which I do need right now. So take care. If that works for you, right here's PayPal, and just put in your request for when you'd like to do the BlogTV and your name, so at least I'll be able to answer your questions specifically. Take care. Peace. So anyways, hey, this is G4T. I'm here on BlogTV, and I won't be really looking at you, the camera, but I'm going to be talking to my good friends from YouTube, and we're just talking about the imminent collapse. Right now, I know in my heart, I know in my soul that we are facing imminent collapse. It's great. It's really great to get together with you folks, Everyone pop open a beer, grab a glass of wine. It's all on me. I'm taking care of the tab tonight. And this is what, yeah, exactly, this is what the internet allows for. This is why the internet will be important when economic collapse happens. Because look, you're broke. You got no money. You got no car. You got no woman. And there you are. So what do? We sit around and we can talk with our friends, our internet friends, here on BlogTV. So it's not going to cost you a dime. You don't got to buy me a beer. You don't got to buy the appetizer. You're just chilling with a bunch of people that you don't know. So when do you think the collapse will happen? That's the big question. And one of the reasons why I wanted to do the video or the BlogTV tonight is because I really believe that we are coming to a critical point. What was the stock market down? It was down a couple percentage points today, I know. We just came out with the foreclosure data and the real estate sales data. I mean, we haven't had a drop in real estate sales like we've had since 2005. And I hear people talking about inflation, even though we're in a deflationary time. I hear people talking about inflation in my daily shopping at the groceries. When people talk about their medical bills, when people talk about, what's another? There's a few things that are being affected by inflation, but I really believe that we have made a difference. And two other terms I want to coin for you guys, and I think you guys need to, well, this needs to be out in the mainstream, is we need to call the mainstream media the state-controlled media. We need to stop calling it the mainstream media, and we need to call it the state-controlled media. And the other one, we need to, exactly, Bahala, new terms, instead of calling this the recession or the Great Recession, we need to figure out if, I think it's the Greater Depression, but I think what is going to happen is they're going to call this the Second Great Depression. But we need to start just calling it a depression. And the first article I've ever seen on CNBC, a somewhat mainstream economist coming out saying, we are in a depression. So thank God that people are just finally calling it a depression, because that's exactly what we are. Yeah, Valhalla, I think about this stuff a lot. So, I think we need to call this a depression, and everyone needs to get real comfortable with calling it exactly Depression 2010, the Second Great Depression. Our terminology, not only our lives are changing, but the terminology we're using to describe it is changing. So, engineered depression, engineered recession, but I don't really want to get into a whole bunch of economic theories and statistics. What I just wanted to, relate with you guys and to talk with you guys is about on the ground, what's happening, how the income is not coming in. I mean, the incomes are just not coming in. everyone is hitting a brick wall here in Southern California and beyond. They're living unemployment check to unemployment check, and it's very, very, very scary, the state of mind everyone is taking on. The depression is called a depression for a reason. Women really, really need to get their act together. Women are destroying what's left of what the men are doing. I mean, there's going to be a whole reset on the way women interact with men. You know, it's just, yeah, it is hot. Someone's asking if it's hot here. We've had pretty hot. Today it was like 107 at the peak, but we have really low humidity here in Southern California. It was like 14%. So the weather is not bad. I mean, it's bad if you're standing out in the sun and you have nowhere to go, but if you have some shade, it's bearable. So I usually would go to the beach on a very hot day, but with the way the economy is, and I'm sure you guys are as well, all you can do is just sit at home. Sit at home, watch TV. I spend a lot of time in my front yard, my backyard, and it's very weird. I can feel the change happening, you know, just all over. My husband is a truck driver. He said there are many less trucks. Exactly. I mean, I go to restaurants once in a while, and what I'm hearing from the people that I talk to in restaurants is that they are, one week no one will show up, even on a Saturday and Friday, and then the next week it'll be busy. And there's a reason for that. They keep talking about this as the new abnormal, but let me tell you what's happening. We've been so conditioned to shop. We've been so conditioned to spend money. We've been conditioned so much to be consumers. I mean, there is no way people are going to get realistic with the income coming in. It's going to have to be their hands are going to have to be forced. So what's happening here is people are just hitting a brick wall with income. So when they hit the brick wall, they're stuck and they can't do anything. But when that check comes in, when the unemployment checks come in, whatever it is, then they're going out and they're spending the money at Starbucks, at a restaurant. They're buying, you know, technology. They're buying the computer. I mean, they're still spending money, and that's what, you know, I want you guys to understand. If you're going to the shopping mall, you're going to the grocery store, and you're like, well, how are people going shopping? Well, number one, a lot of them are just going there to escape the heat. But you know, number two, people are unreasonable and irresponsible, and I'm trying to think of the word. It's like the stock market. You know, they'll go out and they'll just spend the last time they have on what they think is pleasurable to them. They're not really thinking what's best for their family. So it's weird. People will put off doing dental work, but they'll buy a $30 shirt. People won't, like, they won't put gas in their car, but they'll go have sushi. I mean, it's really strange. Just because people are doing it doesn't mean that it makes, I mean, people don't move in perfectly efficient economic ways. They move in human ways, you know? So human ways, you know? People work, people do things in what's considered human, what's normal, sometimes a little psychotic. Wow. Someone just had the vents cleaned for $300 and they still collect unemployment. But I wanted to do this emergency video because I was combing the internet today and I'm really sensing a dire scenario. All the pieces are coming together. Because I check about 8 different forums and I read what people are talking about, and it's across the board. The mood and the sentiment is coming down a couple notches today, and it's getting real for people. And all these people that thought we were kooks, all these people that thought we were crazy, you know, it's called denial. It's called denial. You know, they're living in denial. Once everyone wakes up and we all get on the same page, we can all start moving forward and start helping each other. See, right now, no one is helping each other, and they're just all turtling. Everyone's turtling inside of their house. They're not talking to their friends. They're staying in their backyard. They're watching TV. They're embarrassed. They're not going to parties, and they're just like not doing what we're doing here. And that's bad. That's really bad. Because that's you know, learn to pull your own tooth. Get a pair of pliers somewhere. Yeah, right. That's really good advice, Bahal. What's coming together that you see? Are you looking at the little people or the money people? I don't understand that question. I don't understand that question. You're describing you, holed up in your house. Exactly. IB12541. That's what's happening. People are turtling. People are turtling. Everyone's having dental issues, guys. Everyone's having dental issues. I understand that. I mean, dental is not, hey, what's up, guys? Dental is not covered under most insurance plans, so people are going to put it off. And they're just, you know, Americans' teeth are rotting right now. You know, you go to the doctor and it's covered by insurance, it's a $19,000 bill, but they won't pay a couple $100s to fix the cavity. So it's very, very strange. It's very, very weird what's happening. It's so painful. You know, you're going to deal with the pain, you know. Maybe it's the fluoride that's ruining your teeth, all right? You know, I don't know. People are doing stuff to make money, like home restaurants, urban farms. You sound like you're watching my videos. People are doing those things, but I would be very surprised if they're making a large profit right now. If you know anybody that owns a business right now, it's very hard to make money. You need a virulent customer base to make large profits, and that's what we're lacking here in America. We're lacking people that have money. I mean, seriously, I'm once again thinking about leaving the country. Once again, I'm entertaining that idea. Yeah, it's easy to say, God, golden guns, but, you know, it takes time. There's a lot of, I'm thinking about going to the Philippines for a while. We have a house that our aunts and uncles have built over there. It's very inexpensive to live there. And they're tied to Asia, but, you know, they still are a third world country. I'd love to go to New Zealand, have a lot of followers in New Zealand. But it would be pretty prohibitive, expense-wise. Main people that I watch because you're real. Well, thanks, Secret Squirrel. Thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah. Surprised no one on YouTube has offered you a job. There are plenty that. You know what? That's interesting. What's happening with YouTube? YouTube is, and Google, you know, the internet, it's leading this, it's this whole new way to connect with people, and it's this whole new way to get, you know, basically a celebrity, a mini celebrity status, but it still doesn't play well in the real world. In fact, that's not a good term, but in the real world, you may have notoriety online, but that could work against you in the real world. In fact, it's almost like in the real world, the less they know about you, the better it is. I mean, I've heard, you know, they're checking Facebook accounts before they hire people. I mean, that's a whole other topic in itself. For the limited jobs that are out there, I am hearing that they are making people go through hell. I just talked with one lady that was out of work for 7 months, and she said she got a job with First American Title in Orange County. She said she couldn't believe the hoops they made her jump through. So these companies and corporations, man, they are running people through the ringer for piece of shit jobs. You know, it's amazing. They will Google your name, they'll Google your social security number, they'll Google your email address, they'll try to find out, you know, anything they can about you. And if you're on Facebook and you look like a partier, maybe you're drinking too much or something, then you're gone. They're not going to tell you. That's why they're not interviewing you. But, you know, I mean, it's just amazing. It's amazing. And it's not going to get easier. In fact, I thought about doing a series where I go out and I go interviews for jobs, and I just bring a hidden camera to show people, you know, the horror that these people put these new people through. You know, because I've been on some job interviews, man, and it's really ugly. It's real ugly. I am not surprised. I'm not condoning violence, but I am not surprised how we're seeing people shoot up businesses. The way they're treating employees blows my mind away. How we've lost the sense of dignity in America. I mean, now I'm kind of ranting, but seriously, man, just because you're a boss and you own a company and you are in a management position doesn't mean you can defecate on your employees. But that's exactly what's happening. That's exactly what's happening because, you know, they're getting 20 or 30 people showing up every day that want the same job. So what's happening? The employee is being devalued. As unemployment goes up, people always say this. They always say, well, in the Great Depression there was 30% unemployment, but 70% of the people were working. Well, those 30% put downward pressure on wages, and that 30% keeps that 70% in a high anxiety, high stress level because they're all fighting for, like, you know, wildcats and dogs. And that's what's happening. You know, these corporations right now are instituting all these programs right now through corporate America that are all designed to increase efficiency and to just drive people wild. You know, it's just driving people crazy. So, you know, being a worker is going to be harder and harder and harder. And I know some people think, okay, I'm pretty solid, I'm a nurse, I got this degree or whatever, but I'm letting you know right now I've lived in the third world, and that's where we are going. And just because you have a technical degree doesn't mean it's going to be easy for you. My niece just joined the military because she couldn't find a job. You know, on the military situation, that a lot of our veterans are coming back from the wars, and they don't have a clue what to do in this economy. So a lot of them are, you know, re-enlisting. A lot of them are going to school on the GI Bill, but many of them are just wallowing away. I think someone gave me a statistic that 1 out of 3 homeless are ex-military. So, you know, I was trying to get the inside scoop from a friend of mine about that and asking him, you know, what's going to happen when 100,000 troops come back home that are heavily, you know, they know how to use military equipment. And he goes, you know what? They're not going to do anything. You know, they're not going to do anything. I mean, individually, they're going to, you know, go off the deep end. Individually, you know. Yeah, Ron Paul really surprised me today. He really surprised me but he always surprises me. That's what makes Ron Paul relevant, is he comes out and he's not afraid to say the truth. That the whole argument on the mosque, I mean, he's like, I don't want to compare him to Christ, but, you know, he is like someone who just raises the level of the discussion. It's not even about the mosque, you know, whether it should be there or should not. It's like, why are we even talking about this? We shouldn't even be telling people what to do. So, Ron Paul is a fraud. Wow. Peter Schiff too. Yeah. No, I'm not saying Ron Paul is a fraud. I'm just reading that. I'll go into detail about Ron Paul if you want to know. Ron Paul is not a fraud, but I'll tell you what happened. His campaign, the people running his campaign, there's some serious problems. They collected, what was it, $40 million at one point. And I actually looked through the campaign reports, the public reports, and the way they spent that money was very, very questionable. If they wanted a chance, I mean, I don't even want to go in there. I don't even want to go into there. You know, I just know when 2012 comes around, Ron Paul's running, and it's going to be a fun ride. He's probably not going to win, but it's going to be a fun ride. Yeah, it'll be really, really fun. I think Ron Paul will run Stripe 64. I think he will. No, he will. There's too much happening in this country. You know, I've been researching like Alex Jones and some of these other internet-based, I mean, heck, Inflation US. Do you know what the percentage rates are for the growth in the alternative media? I think Alex grew like 300% last year, and you know, we've tripled that. You know, it's like people are turning away from the state-controlled media. That's exactly what it is, the state-controlled media. So whether you like Alex or not, you know, guys like him are going to grow in prominence, and if we have a serious economic collapse, the sheeple will hopefully wake up. And the problem is, you know, who are they going to choose as their leaders? Are they going to choose, you know, hardcore right-wing extremists, or are they going to choose constitutional, freedom-loving patriots? That'll be the real interesting. I mean, Hitler rose to power during, you know, after Weimar. Screw the state-controlled media. You said it. Well, someone is saying that there's no collapse, and I have to disagree with you. The collapse is happening right now. Why can't your videos be 10 minutes long? My videos can be even longer than 10 minutes because I own 2 YouTube partner channels. But the way the internet digests video, it's best to make videos 3 to 4 minutes long. So, you know, I don't know what to tell you. But if you make a long video, unless it's a major documentary, it doesn't digest well for the internet. So, you know, I try to keep my videos under 3 to 4 minutes. They just don't. It doesn't work. It's not digestible. RT interviews, nothing on the horizon, but I am maintaining contact with RT. There's 2 producers that work here in LA, and I'm becoming, you know, good friends with them. And there's a lot of opportunities to work with Russia TV, you know, so I'll keep pursuing that. And yeah, Americans are too bored. Yeah, I check out RT once in a while. I really appreciate them covering the issues that they cover. I wish more mainstream outlets cover that. You should get a CCW if you're going to slummy areas. Everything's pointing down, huh? How long before housing recovers? That's a good question. As I said in the video, you're seeing spurts and pockets of appreciation in housing, but it is sheerly due to the banks keeping properties off of the market. It's a false signal, and we had the $8,000 tax credit. There was a couple other incentives that we had, but what that does is the government is taking future buyers. They're taking people that would have bought, you know, a year from now, and they're bringing them into the forefront to buy now. Well, there comes a point in time where you've taken all the buyers and there are no more. So I have to agree with Bahala. Housing is done. It's just done. It's what you're looking at. I mean, especially you guys that are in areas that haven't been hit that hard. I mean, it's like I'm giving you a glimpse into the future. I mean, I only know one guy that sold his house in Pasadena. He sold his house for $600,000. He owed like $200,000. He took the $400,000 and put it in the stock market, and he rented. But that takes a lot of conviction, and many times you're dealing with a woman and a family who aren't going to, go along with that conviction. So I'm in Southern California, and the housing situation will just continue to deteriorate. I think what people fail to realize is when you look at a house, what you're looking at is really a conglomeration of what has been propagandized to you over the course of your lifetime. If you can step away from the concept of a house is the dream home that you will live and die and happily live ever after, and really look at it for what it is, it's pieces of wood. It's pieces of wood, insulation, plumbing, electricity. I mean, it's just basic stuff. So what we're dealing with here, and in addition to that, it's a heavy, heavy debt burden. Hold on really quick, my kid's here. Are you guys going to go to bed or what? Okay, go ahead. Okay, I love you. Help take care of your sister, okay? Okay? So anyways, actually I might take a break here really quick and grab another cup of tea. George should come to New York and walk through Times Square. I will be in New York this coming Monday. I'm going to be flying out to New York to work for about a week. So we're going to be putting together a new documentary. I don't want to go too much into it, but it's going to be huge, hopefully. Okay guys, so I'm going to take about 10 or 15, and I'm going to get a cup of coffee, actually a cup of tea, and we'll wrap for probably another hour, and then we'll call it quits, okay? So, I'll be back. Okay, hey. Hey, thank you so much, Aurora 1. Yeah, I really need to network with some people that are on welfare. All I'm getting is like secondhand reports from people. I can tell you one thing. A lot of them are overweight because it kind of breeds that type of lifestyle, just staying at home. A lot of people have been asking about Mikey SoCal. Mike's mother died recently of cancer. And Mike, I know, is still struggling, trying to find work. His dad just crashed his car. Mike's a little bit of an interesting guy. He helped me build some construction projects in the backyard. But he's the typical example of a guy that's always worked, never had a problem finding a job, and now he's just, I just haven't kept in touch with him. I mean, his cell phone doesn't work. I never see him around. He's probably homeless. What young guys do to be homeless is, they're so embarrassed and so bummed out about being homeless, they usually turn to drugs or alcohol. And from what I understand, at night in Southern California it doesn't get too cold, so they just find a bush and get as drunk as possible, so they can pass out somewhere. But that is a common thing here in my part of Southern California now. A lot of people sleeping in sleeping bags, and they're sleeping in the wide open because they want to be safe. I just saw that at Food for Less. Pointed it out to my wife. But a lot of people just look past that and they don't even see it. They don't see the amount of people that are living on the streets. I try to stay away from Mikey. The last couple times we've gotten together, he has a little bit of a abuse problem, and I just don't. You know, there's a lot of element that he brings with him that I got kids and I got to be careful. So I got to be real careful. He kind of one night we were out playing pool at a place and a bunch of guys came in that knew him, and they were pretty dangerous guys, and I kind of got a feel for his. We just became close during that time I was shooting videos. I kind of realized I shouldn't be spending a lot of time with a guy like that, especially with kids, because you know he may bring bad elements. That's another weird thing with this economic collapse is, I don't know if that's a normal thing or an everyday thing, but there's a couple guys on my street, just by becoming friends with them, you're opening up yourself to a whole level of danger, because for some reason, and I don't know why this is, but when people become familiar with you as friends, you become more accessible, and you can potentially become more of a target. So it's kind of a weird thing. Hold on really quick, guys. Hello? Yeah, I'm doing that. Are you going to bring her over? Okay, well, what's up? Oh, they're already asleep. Okay, take care. Bye. Okay. The less you know people, the better. It's kind of a double-edged sword, you know, and in some ways, you need to communicate with people, you need to develop close contacts with people, you need to develop your social network, because that's going to help you during collapse. But there's also some people that you have to be very wary of. And by developing a relationship with them or opening the door to them, you open yourself up to potentially danger, you know. Yeah. Well, I don't know exactly getting robbed by them, but it's just, you know, I don't know why that is. You know, there's dangerous people out there. Yeah, exactly. The best victims are the ones, you know, there's just dangerous people. There's just dangerous people out there. They've been to jail before. You know, one night you could, you know, for 6 months you could become friends, and then one night he's drinking or doing some type of drug, and you know, I don't know, you run over one of his garden tools with your car, and you know, it sets him off. I have no idea. You know, last night I've been biking at night because I have to wait till my kids go to sleep, and I bike, and I was biking over here, and I noticed a huge increase in the amount of people on the streets, and this figure just stood right in front of my bike, and I was like, okay, I should just go away from him, but you know, I just thought, you know what, I'll just go a little bit around him. Well, he kind of like stuck out his arm, and he was like, hey, and I don't know why, but I stopped. It was just a guy, he was all tatted up, all over, and he just said, hey, you want to smoke some weed? And I was like, I don't really know you, dude, it's cool, I don't do that. And like, he was just being really friendly to me. And I've had that happen many times. And just because they're friendly doesn't mean, just because they're acting friendly doesn't mean that they're not dangerous. Now, he was with his girlfriend, so he wasn't gay. You know. The Bartik. Be polite to everyone you meet, but have a plan to kill everyone in the room. Wow. Hey, Exquisite, how you doing? Yeah. Why don't you get the hell out of Cali, George? I am staying here because my family's here. My family isn't going anywhere. Nope, then let's not get into my personal situation. So, what do you guys want to talk about? Yeah, I don't know how it is in your guys' area, but over here, I mean, recycling has taken on a whole new meaning. I mean, you see guys with like 3 full garbage bags on the, I mean, they're going recycling bins, they're going through the trash. I don't know where these guys get all these cans from, but man, that is their full-time job. I could take this computer, walk, 5 minutes, and I could show you basically something that looks like a FEMA camp. I mean, it is that bad. It is that bad. They used to be behind my house. Now they're in a parking lot, and there's like 6 of them. It grows. They start with 1, 2, 3. They're just homeless people, but they're the new homeless. They're the people that are on the fringes. Maybe they have a drug problem, and they used to be able to pull it together. Then they live in their car, and then they stay in their car for a couple months, and they come in and out of people's houses, and then their car gets taken away, and then all of a sudden they're on the street, and that's it. That's what happens. Any practical information? Well, what do you want to talk about, Zombie? I mean, the reason why I wanted to do this blog TV is because I think there is a conglomeration of reports and a feeling I'm getting from everything I'm seeing that we are now in the Great Depression. And I don't think the whole point of, I don't know. And I agree with you too. But it's like I can really feel for the survivalists, and I can really feel for the people prepping for this collapse. But it's almost like it almost feels like it's futile. Thank you. It almost feels like it's futile getting really aggro about, preparing for this collapse. Yeah, I understand bug out bag, I understand the bug out vehicle, I understand all that, and I think what the people that I talk to are not actually the people that are hardcore survivalists. I think what's going to cause a problem in America are the people that are just going to have a massive destruction of their living standards. And that process I've been through, and that's what I feel like I'm here to do, is kind of help people, like almost hold their hand as we go through this. I mean, that's the only thing I feel I can offer to the table, because I am not an expert in survival. I'm not anything. All I know is I've been through the collapse, and I know exactly the pitfalls and what's going to happen. So, I would say the number one thing is psychological. I would say that's the biggest thing. And, I've kind of been getting away from a lot of that with my videos, but, the garden's going great. We have, today I picked like 4 or 5 fresh tomatoes. It's great. I mean, you gotta do a little bit of gardening. Just get into that mode. Yeah, I've been keeping in touch with Mustang Jake. He's doing great. Yeah, that's a good idea, Zombie, to get your blog together. But in reality, that doesn't work as well as it says, because it's not going to be, at least immediately, like a zombie attack, like a garrison. I mean, that type of stuff happens in downtown LA when they had the Rodney King riots, and they were shown, the Koreans got together and were able to fight off, the looting stopped at the Korean district because they had guns. But I think the biggest problem for people in the larger sense is just psychologically dealing with it, and I'm here to learn too. Man, it's tough. It's weird. Today I was sitting on my back porch for an hour just staring away, and I was just trying to think, what is going on here? It's like you're stuck. You just can't move. You can't do anything. You know, when the money stops coming in, it's just like really, really strange. Sure, you got rice and beans, sure you got food, but it's like, it's almost like you just become, you know, it's weird. It's weird what's happening. Yeah, I mean, the whole no jobs thing, it's just, it's getting utterly ridiculous. Yeah. I mean, I always get calls from my friends. This week, I haven't gotten one call from anybody. Everybody is going through this. I know they are. Exactly, Rihanna. Yeah, it's like you're frozen. It's like you're frozen in time. It's really strange. Now, that's one of the reasons I'm glad, you know, we could get together here on BlogTV. It's kind of loosening me up and getting me connected with other people, because it's really strange, you know, just this economy is really isolating people. It's really isolating people. Lucky's doing fine. Lucky has fleas. So I should probably find a homemade remedy to get rid of fleas. I need to Google that. See, I just haven't had the time to go buy her flea medicine. It's just crazy. Yeah, my daughter is fine. She got over whatever she got over. I was buying gold and silver like a year or two ago. I don't have any recommendations on buying silver gold. It's a big difficulty, you know, for me. I mean, it's just, I'm at a point where monetarily I can't even invest in any more silver or gold. I mean, my money is going to food, and it's going to gasoline. I mean, it's going to the basic necessities of life. I can't even get to that point. Yeah, exactly. Rice, beans, meat products, and the strange thing, this is the strange thing for us urban survivalists, is there's a whole weird thing that's happening socially where people expect certain lifestyle expenses on your part, and then when you can't do that, then you get a lot of conflict. You know, it's like your kids are in school. Okay, they should have new clothes, and they should be able to go to the dance, and they should be able to enroll in choir, and they should be able to pay for the basic, but that can't happen. So what happens is you just, it's really strange. You know, it's really strange how that affects relationships, and it affects your friendships. You know, it's weird. I mean, that's a lot of what I'm going through. Yeah, no, it's tough. It's tough making ends meet, you know? Bible says in the last days gold will be thrown in the street. I don't know about that. Okay, hey, Facts Ray, good. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to that. So, yeah, if you guys are late to the game, I'm going to take down that video. That way no more people come in late. But we're kind of slowing things down. The title, when I put the title of the video, Collapse is Imminent, and what I meant by that is I saw my first CNBC article that talked about it's basically now we have people in the state-controlled media calling this thing a depression. So, you know, of course it's been a depression. Now we just have further confirmation. I'm hearing from reports on the ground with my friends and beyond, people are having significant trouble with income right now. And they are having very significant problems with relationships. That's another one. So right now we are going through this major change where people are having to reevaluate what money means in their lives and how they relate to that and how they believe their self-worth. Because right now we're all trying to find our self-worth, and because you don't have the income, you have to find it somewhere else. It's changing the way we're interacting with others. You know, it's changing. If you can keep off the meds, keep off the meds. You know, if you're getting depressed, you know, I don't want to get too much into this. Just basically, if you're getting depressed, you go to your doctor, realize the first thing they're going to do is try to medicate you. Be very, very careful of that. Be very, very careful of any medication. My advice would be go outside, get plenty of sleep, deal with your problems. You know, you don't deal with, you know, if you got bills, just realize you don't have to pay them. How is the YouTube partnership advice videos going? That's kind of slowing down. I want to get that kick-started again, but that business has kind of faltered. We're thinking about a different marketing strategy with that. I mean, we're thinking about going more, you know, advertising. You know, it's a struggle. You know, you try different things. You know, starting businesses is different than a job. You know, when you start businesses, I've noticed you have to partner with people. You got to try different things, and then hopefully, God willing, one of them clicks, and you start making money off of it. But it always seems like luck, and it always seems like a lot of work. Oh, great, Labartic. Just keep pumping away, man. You just got to keep trying new things, and, you know, realize that most of them will fail. So, once again, a lot of guys have been asking me about SoCal Mike, and last time I ran into him, he was pretty wasted, and I just decided that wasn't the safest thing to be around my kids, and kind of broke off ties with him. Yeah, so you think the government put a new program? Oh, here, you know what? I put a video out on Inflation US, and the government is coming down with two new products for home buyers, and that's another client that I just brought in. It's a guy that owns a YouTube channel, Foreclosure Solvers. So, you know, what's happening is this guy's really smart with bringing people through the loan modification process. So I'm directing people to his YouTube channel and his website, and, you know, he sells, you know, he sells something to help people, and that's one of my clients I was able to bring on recently. So that's helping. That's helping. From what I understand, you really gotta know what you're doing with doing loan mods. It's basically, they have their ratios of income to expenditures, and if you don't give them the right numbers, they look for a way to kick you out of the system. So hey, what's up? Mariposa, kisses. Yeah, so that's basically what's happening. If you're gonna do a loan modification, you should get really educated before you jump into the fray with the bank, because the bank has three options. I mean, the bank wants to glean as much money as they can from you, okay? So they're going to negotiate with you, and not in good faith, and they're going to try to get you to pay as much of the mortgage as possible, and then when they deem that you do not have enough money, or you're not going to pay them enough, then they will foreclose rapidly and to take the house back. And once they have the house back, then, you know, they will continue to go after you to get the difference, because they've already gotten the bailouts from the government. So it's kind of like these banks are not operating in your best interest. They are operating in a way to maximize the amount of money that they can get. So this whole process is not about helping the people. Just realize that. That's why it will never work. All these programs the government is setting up to keep housing afloat, it's gonna backfire horribly. Yeah, Grizzly Joe, it's great that you have that you could say, hey, get their judgments, then go BK and take off. But you have to realize there's a lot of people that are still working, and they will pay them. You know, they will pay them and pay them and pay them. So, yeah, I'm glad you liked that video. Okay, so yeah, well, thank you. Yeah, we're just winding down, guys. So anyways, we recorded most of the show. This is just me kind of chilling now. So I'm just glad you guys could come, and I hope everybody is doing okay. I know a lot of people are stressing with what's happening, and I just wanted to, you know, I just wanted everyone to realize that we are, you know, it's not like I have to convince you. I mean, I'm sure you guys are of the same mind as me, but it's really it's distressing to me how badly things are getting. I mean, I used to have to really search for the news. Now it's like on the front page of Drudge Report. It's on the front page of Yahoo. You know, it's just really strange. So. George, why do you think all the states are going bankrupt all of a sudden? The only thing I can think of is these governments have been growing at the same rate the economy was growing, which was totally flooded with excess liquidity and money. So they were growing at a higher rate sometimes than the private industry. Now you've had a total collapse of the private industry. Of course, the government isn't going to slow down on its own. I mean, California, we're scheduled to start paying IOUs again in 2 months. I mean, it's really weird how the state can start paying IOUs. We haven't had a balanced budget, but yet it still stays together somehow. So it's almost like they keep pushing it and pushing it, and it's just going to get to a point where it is breaking. It is breaking right now. It's breaking individually, you know. They keep paying for all the mistakes in the economy on the backs of you and me, on the people. And the people's backs are breaking. George, have you heard about the unemployment extension running out this November? I'm so done with the unemployment extensions. I've like done those stories. So it's like I'm so done with that. It's like the story that I want to do is what everybody is doing on extension, on the unemployment. Everybody is sitting at home. I just know the men. They're men, and they're on unemployment, and they're playing video games. They're watching TV. They're just in a permanent staycation mode. It's like it's strange. There you go. Yeah, food stamps. Food stamps is going mainstream. I mean, we got 40 million people, 42 million people on food stamps. So that's funny. You know, people think during this Great Depression, you know, oh, maybe people will starve, but you know, they're going to pour all their resources into supporting food prices. So, you know, it's developing. This whole collapse is developing in a strange way. People are getting hit in ways that aren't expected. You know, they're getting hit in the frustration of finding work. They're getting hit in the frustration of not being able to go out as much with their families. They're being hit by having to change, you know, like they're being hit in so many other ways. It's weird, you know, but the food thing is really being covered by the government. So food banks, yeah, food banks don't work. They just don't work. I've been on unemployment since 2009 to now. It's been my best vacation ever. Past 10 years, I worked 2 jobs. Yeah, but what's going to happen, Del? There's a cause and effect of all the people taking this vacation on the taxpayer dime. and there's a psychological effect, and it's going to be harmful in the long run, because all these guys that are on unemployment, they're going to wake up just like that character who sleeps and wakes up, and you're going to hit the reality of what's out there. And the reality of that's what's out there is very, very different than just a few years ago or just a year ago. I mean, the reality is, I mean, it's like you're going to wake up in a different country. You know, it's a different country. You're waking up to a different country, and it's very, very tough. No, Axe, you are not the... There's 42 million Americans that are on food stamps. Many people are on some type of government subsidies. Yeah, Rip Van Winkle. Thank you. That's what I meant. Yeah, it's really weird, guys. I didn't go to school to be on food stamps. It's like the younger generation, God bless them. They are our future. They are so not ready for what's ahead. I mean, nobody's really ready, but the kids are not prepared for, I mean, we've really ruined it. I mean, it's going to hit them like a brick wall. Right now, they're being supported by their parents, and they're being subsidized by people that they know and love. But it's going down, brother. Reality is coming. It's tough. What are you doing off of Craigslist? That's a good idea. Are you just finding jobs off of Craigslist? That's great. You know, I'm going to try to be more positive, but it's getting pretty dark. It's getting pretty dark. The problem is, here's what's happening in our economy. What is, we don't have efficiency in our economy. We have major inefficiencies. And there's so many rules and regulations to get businesses started. So what's happening is a weird turn of events where you can work in the gray and the black market. A lot of the illegal immigrants have it down pat. But you get subsidized by the government. So you get all these subsidies, and then you do things on the side to make money, and you end up having a better lifestyle than someone that works full-time, because the pay is just not there. Yeah, and the question is, it's like, the question I keep asking myself is, you know, it's just, where do you turn? What do you do? There is no escape, per se. It's like riding a broken down car, man. I mean, you just keep riding, but it keeps breaking down. It's just like, that's what we are here in the U.S. Because it's funny, it's like you can work your ass off really hard now, and it's like you're not really ahead of anybody. You know? It's not, your work ethic isn't paid off. It's really strange. We're changing the culture of our country. Do you guys see Obama's, yeah, my voice is going, Rhea. So that I'm talking too much. You know, now my voice is going, guys. I'll probably be on here for another 10 minutes and then we'll just shut it down. But I'm just enjoying hanging out with you guys. Hey, GP man. Uh-oh, save the voice. Shit. I'm going to be in trouble. Okay, no more blog TV after this. I'll be real quiet the rest of the week. Okay, guys. Well, I'm out of here. Thank you so much for coming to this emergency report. And we are just making it clear. The collapse is here. It's imminent. We are now officially in a depression. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. The best way that you can prepare for this depression is to cut things to the bare bone. And just realize that there's a lot of trolls in the chat room. So peace out, guys. Take care. Have a good one.